Biden, honestly, is the only nuclear energy candidate. He's the one that's been passing legislation, getting
I
stuff.
saw that there was a recent legislation that went, well, the Congress passed it, and I think they said it was going to go over to Biden to
The
he's
Advance Act.
guaranteed to sign it. Yeah, and that's partly what has prompted some of my reaching out to people.
Yeah, so there's the Advance Act, which was like nuclear specific, takes down a lot of the regulations that really hold nuclear back. A big part of why nuclear takes so long is simply because of all the red tape. So that was, that's a positive. As well, you had the Inflation Reduction Act, which clears a lot of money for clean energy deployments across the country. Bipartisan infrastructure law, same thing. Just in general, I think Biden is the one that's actually doing.
Biden is absolutely capable of doing that and has done that for sure. And also, like, I think Angus King is a Democratic senator who was leading a lot of this. It's a very bipartisan issue to make sure civilization doesn't end. Believe it or not,
right?
People generally would like their toilet to flush, not flush for a week. So, do you think I should vote for Biden because of that?
Well, that's exactly the thing. So, I like, how are you rationalizing this? Because I've never heard you consider Biden as an option. You've always considered RFK, who does not like nuclear. He's outspoken against it.
Trump, has he really? I know. About him right now.
That was one of the bits where I'm like, yeah, RFK, I can't do it, because if you're not going to be behind this, then that's a deal breaker.
Are you fucking joking? What the fuck? Do you support the use of nuclear energy? No, we should invest in cleaner alternatives such as wind, hydro. The fuck?
Look, like, don't get me wrong as well. Like, we do need to have a holistic approach to it. So we need nuclear, hydro, wind, solar. We need all of it. But if he's going to discount nuclear, like, deal breaker. So that's the first part. And then
hold on. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. Hold on.
We're storing the fuel rods at the structural integrity of a Kmart. A terrorist attack against it would basically render New York.
Okay, he's talking about the waste issue, which is such a non-issue. Okay, fine. This is what happens when you deny science to the degree that RFK does, which he does to some degree, not as much as
talking about all these aspects of nuclear that he's misrepresenting and doesn't actually understand. So hearing him just spread this misinformation about the technology is extremely frustrating. So that's
my honest opinion is I suspect it doesn't matter who's president. I think it is not. I think the barriers, or what would you say, the mechanisms that facilitate nuclear power, are there no matter who's president. So meaning like
there's I want to believe that, but
a lot of the regulation is state based, so it's not even the federal government that's doing some of the. There's the EPA. Which
I don't know. Nuclear is very top down. I mean, you have the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, NRC. You have NNSA. You have all sorts of organizations that are like federally.
Sure. Yeah. There's that. Yeah. Because you do have the fuel rod issue, which is like a national defense thing. Okay. Hold on. Before
and all sorts of.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate bringing this up. Before we go to the next caller, what is your background? And are you involved in nuclear stuff, or why is this?
It's more like a passion thing. So from my job, I do analysis, and part of that is looking into a bunch of stuff. So I have like a, tertiary knowledge of like a lot of things. And this is just one where I was passionate about. So
what kind of analyst? What do you mean your job is analyst? What does that mean? You don't have to dox yourself, but
investment analyst.
Oh, finance guy. All right. Do you watch the All In pod?
No,
okay, never mind. Forget it. Keep going though.
In either case though, so nuclear is one that I'm putting time into.
Okay, very cool.
Part of it. In either case, so like then let's shift it away from RFK. So Trump is one of the candidates you've talked about supporting. Trump, in my opinion, or from what I've seen, isn't a very principled person. He doesn't.
Wow, that's a hot take. You're saying Trump is not an extremely principled president? No.
So it wasn't until recently, in the past 2 weeks, I saw the clip from you, but how Trump was talking about supporting nuclear. Problem is, though, I don't actually trust him to do so. So the way I see things in terms of nuclear energy, Biden really is the only one who supports and is getting things done. Like Trump had his 4 years to pass any sort of legislation, make any sort of statement, make any sort of progress towards nuclear. Like if he had done that in 2016, then we could have more reactors in the pipeline. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just curious how you.
Like I said, I'm ignorant beyond belief. So, but I do think that the barriers are sub presidential level. Like I think it is. Well, I like nuclear in principle. I'm so ignorant on the mechanisms behind it. And to your point, if well, RFK, that fucking is annoying. I didn't even realize that. So thank you for pointing that out. With Trump, I don't know if you saw I was talking about Trump's recent talking points.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how France does their nuclear reactors. They're smaller. And
yeah, no, that's the videos.
Yeah. Okay. I obviously, of course, everyone lies, presidents especially.
Trump
especially. Maybe, arguably. Well, whatever. Hillary Clinton lies a lot too. Joe Biden does too. But that's something it's hard. I mean, maybe, but like what he described about let's have smaller nuclear reactors that have less regulation involved. Like that's logical enough. And I don't see, even though I do think he lies, I don't know why he would lie about that in particular. Now, like what I could see is oil and gas industry hate nuclear. Oil and gas industry love Trump, although if you look at the oil and gas industry donations, it's pretty evenly spread between Republicans and Democrats. But let's say hypothetically it's more for Trump, then yeah, that would be problematic. But you could say the same thing for solar. Like the hyper green energy people don't like nuclear for the same reason. Well, why have nuclear when we can do solar and wind?
There's goofiness on both sides. My point specifically, though, is Trump had his chance to enact any sort of nuclear anything. He didn't. It wasn't until very recently that he actually is outspoken about the technology. I mean, that's a good thing, sure, maybe. But if we're actually looking at people that are getting things done, Biden is that guy. And I'm not pretending to be a fan of him. I have my own issues with Biden. Sure. I reference guns being an important thing to me, and Biden is not that guy. So I get it. Trust me. Point is, though, you seem to discount Biden to such a degree
because he's a walking corpse. That's why.
I mean, yeah.
I really it really is like if it was. I said before, if Gavin Newsom said things and I mean, obviously California fucking sucks, but I'll listen to. I will just as I will hear Trump out, I will hear Gavin Newsom out. I've heard Gavin Newsom talk about things, point out some specific examples, and I'm like, okay, that was my intuition or my thought coming in, but he pointed something out, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to change my mind on this. If Gavin Newsom was like, let's fucking go nuclear, baby, for nuclear, not going nuclear, I'd be like, okay, I'd consider that. But Biden is a dead walking corpse for a globalist puppet. That's what he is. He
may be a dead walking corpse, but he's a corpse with actual good policy decisions.
Maybe. So, hey. I'm not saying I'm not saying you're 100% wrong. Anyway, I can move to the next caller. Thank you for calling in. If you want, if you have any if you want to email me any of your any nuclear related I don't know analysis you've done, or if there's any particular links or resources or interviews or research that you found particularly compelling, email it to me. Okay, please, because okay. Like I said, I'm trying to make moves to not just make artistic and autistic memes on the internet. I'm trying to actually do some stuff. So that would be
world. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that'd be very helpful. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay, next up.